I'm ready.
Okay, says we're live again, I think. Sorry for that, everybody. As has been happening a lot lately, I keep getting kicked off of my own chat, off of my own Hangout, and have some serious network connectivity problems. This has been happening a lot lately, as many of you know. So this time I had to actually restart my computer. It took too long for me to come back, and that's why we're doing take two. So sorry about the disruption, and looks like at least 17 people are back already. So that's cool. Sorry about that, guys. 19 now. Okay, they're coming back. So I do apologize for that, and I must have missed, I don't know how much, 5 minutes or so. You guys' conversation sounded like you were getting a little passionate.
You missed the good shit, baby.
What were you talking about?
That's right. We were getting passionate.
We finished it. We're all done now. It's sorry.
Yeah, too late.
It's all done. We can't. I was just telling Amy, we can't rekindle that now. It's too late. SOL. That's what happens. You did that. No. No, what the hell were we talking about? See, I got a shitty memory.
Let's see. We were talking about what would happen when a car.
Oh, that's right. You were pulled over.
Yeah.
That's right. You were pulled over. I had you in front of the judge.
Well, yeah. Once I get in front of the judge, believe me, I have seen this work where if you do not answer their question, you are not in contract with them. If you say, I was bullied to be here, I am not here of my own free will, I will be happy to play in your court if you prove I am subject. And, you know, I'll give you an hour and then I expect to walk freely. And they don't have, you know, never answer any of their questions. Because if you answer their questions, you've created a contract.
All right. Me personally, I think that's an individual battle that most every person is not going to take on.
Well,
or walk away from,
or walk away from at some point. That's just I think you're looking for more trouble than it. Again,
initially, yes. Initially, it will be a struggle. But look at it this way. What if 85% of the people were going, I don't consent. I consent to this over.
Almost sounds like a song.
That.
Almost sounds like a song, didn't it?
But if you can prove I'm subject,
what the hell is that?
I will be subject. What if 85% of us were doing that? Well, hey, let's write it. Let's write it. No, the point is, that you know, enough of that, it will really begin. And you know, the people are to like end up their foot down. They don't consent, and to go through what they might have to go through, because they don't know what else we could do. Well, how else are we going to operate the world? And that's why I keep trying to let people know how else we might operate this planet if we are willing to stand up and fight for humanity as a gentle one.
I agree. I'm, you know, my plan, what I'm saying, how come I'm echoing back? How come I hear myself back in this thing?
Do you have the
chat?
No, I closed that out. I'd close that out completely.
Well, then sometimes
it's not echoing back
Hangouts.
now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Sometimes the echoes will come and go. That's not a big deal, but tonight we are having plenty of technicals, obviously. So I wouldn't put it past me for anything to happen this evening. My computer caught on fire, or you know, something like that.
Yeah, really. It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, see, again, I'm not. You're suggesting that what I'm proposing, or even suggesting, is anything other than peaceful. My first step is let's get outside influences outside. Now that's the easy sell to the people.
Where is outside?
Well, we start with the lobbyists. We get them out. We get
How?
People have to unite and come together and work on that.
Well, but I don't see
that's something people can do. That is peaceful.
I don't see a way that it would do anything, because we could yammer at them all we want, but as long as we have that thing called money flowing, they're just going to laugh at it, because their money comes from what they're doing.
All right. Well, I think, with all due respect, your solution is starting at the beginning. And we can't start at the beginning. It took us 2,000 years to get here.
That's right.
It's not starting at the
beginning. We have to take baby steps to go back. We have to first eliminate the organizations who donate that same money, $3 billion a year and so forth.
I understand that money is the biggest issue on this planet, because it promotes these psychopaths, gives them power.
We cut away from that.
What we need is awareness that if we just get free energy out in the open, we will get rid of money. 100% of the cost of everything is energy. 100%.
Amy,
if we have free energy, we can get money.
I 100% I agree with you. There's so much free energy on this. I agree with you 1,000%.
Well,
but we have to have baby steps to that solution. There is no, you're suggesting a giant step for every mom in Kansas to stand in front of a judge and say, no, show me why I should submit.
Well, no.
And it's not going to happen.
You don't stand in front of them and say no.
I bet you can give them all a script and they won't do it. That
is creating controversy.
You can give them a script, Amy. You can whisper it in their ear and let them blurt it out for you.
I've written it all. It's in my videos. I understand that initially. Here's the whole point. If we get awareness that this is an option out to the tipping point, where at that point it just takes off and everyone's talking about it.
They're talking about crisis actors right now. All we got to do is get them to realize that those politicians are treasonous.
Well, they are not treasonous. They are not treasonous. They are not treasonous because in order to be treasonous, they have to be obligated to us, and they are not. They are obligated to the corporation that is doing its business as it sees fit.
Now, you and I understand that, Amy, but 99.5% of the population haven't a clue what you're talking about.
Right.
They do know what the word treason is.
That's right.
I understand that, but here's another point. Once you start saying we've got to go after individuals that we cannot prove personally performed an unethical act.
Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it, Amy. Here's how you do it. First and foremost, you have them declare their allegiance, pledge their allegiance to we the people. And if they are part of a secret society, if they are part of an organization that has a different agenda, they are to be removed or suffer the consequences at that moment.
Who's going to do all that?
The people.
How?
How? You rally, you show up at DC. That's what you do, Amy. You know how they did it 500 years ago?
Yeah. That's how they did it 500 years ago.
They didn't wait for a book to come around.
Yeah.
They didn't wait for someone to change it. They had to go maul people.
That's right.
I'm not asking for that. But if we have enough people, we can get enough people to march around for a goddamn woman. 1 million people will show up because they're getting paid.
Yeah, you need 1 million of your best friends to literally show up.
We need 1 million people, and I'll guarantee you those motherfuckers will be running.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's put it this way.
The general public understands freedom.
Hang on. Let's not talk over each other.
I'm sorry.
I would not
Get me
say.
fired up.
I would. Yeah, me too. I would not say don't do that. However, I would say while we're at it, let's share awareness of a better way to operate human society.
100%.
That by golly, if we get it going, every single human on this planet can live as richly as they choose.
We hear you, Amy, and that's wonderfully optimistic, but
it's not optimistic.
It is the path that has to be taken. Nothing will change without a public perception and awareness. Nothing ever has.
That's why I'm saying share awareness.
Even in the old days, 500 years ago, like Bob said, it was pitchforks and torches that actually caused real-time effective change. It was people actually showing up and mauling and mobbing the people who were in power and not doing their job, right?
Well,
people to show up and physically take care of business.
The thing is, I'm going to bet that when we show up, nobody will be home.
Yeah, you're right.
And Amy, you're right. I hope they're not. Then we kick that door in and we make that our home.
And
I guess.
No, Amy, here's the thing, Amy. Listen, it doesn't have to be violent, all right? But the reality is within 2 to 3 years, when you start removing these people and these outside sources, these outside influences out of our political arena, we know it's corrupt. We know all that. But just take the first step and remove those people. I can guarantee you 30% of the people's money goes back to them. Back to their pocket, because there's not what they call it overspending. It's laundering. It's laundering our money. It's extorting and laundering our money. Now, when we get to the bottom of that,
it's not
and we
really
call those bastards out, that's what has to happen.
Let me ask you this, okay? Because it's not technically laundering. What it is taking the investors of the corporation.
Amy, let's not dance around semantics too much.
Well, the thing is, they will be that technical. They will be that technical.
It's true.
Not when their feet are held over fire, I promise you that.
All right, how can we improve this?
I knew this was going to be a funny thing.
Here's how I look to improve it, I'm not just.
Hold on. How can we improve this conversation?
In what way?
It's going great.
Okay, all right.
I'm having a good old time. All right, look, my solution.
Carry on.
It's just passion. Nobody's angry at each other. This is just a passionate conversation.
I love this shit, baby.
Exactly.
Look,
exactly.
all right, look, March 4th.
We're good.
I don't, I come to a realization recently that March 4th, I'm going to go to the APAC demonstration. And again, there's going to be a lot of people there. But I think APAC is the first step. I think APAC donates so much money to these politicians. These politicians have to sign a pact to get money. They have to sign with it that they're going to support Israel and all that Israel wants. We just eliminate that one cancer within our own government. I understand government. I understand the money system, but we have to abide by that system right now. That's the one we're in today. Okay. In order to change that, we have to change it. There used to be a time when money had gold in it. Okay. But they changed that. They changed that because they came up with a plan.
I understand that. As far as that money and gold thing is, once you understand that the same people own the bulk of the metals on this planet. So if we went back to a backed currency, they'd still be in control. And second of all, it doesn't matter what token we use, whether it's some kind of metal or it's a piece of paper or it's an electronic bit or it's a good produced or whatever. when you're accounting for human energy, you will promote the psychopaths because the accounting for human energy gives power to some over others, and that draws them, and they will take advantage, and they will do anything and everything
That's
to get it.
almost entirely true. And Amy and I have gone round and round and
Whoops. Did we lose you again, Aaron? Oh, please don't tell
simply
me.
money is a tool. It can be used like a hammer. You can build something or you can kill someone.
It's an antiquated and dangerous tool.
Well,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know if I agree that it's antiquated.
Okay.
This is where you and I are at an impasse. And Bart, I'll give you the floor in just a moment. The thing is, the people that are running this shit show right now are psychopaths, and we all agree on that.
Yes.
The problem is that we have as a society is that good people are not willing to do the things that psychopaths are willing to do in order to retake their own fucking power.
Yes.
Psychopaths are willing to rape, steal, kill, murder, and all of the above.
Yes.
Good people are not willing to do those things in order to gain their own fucking freedom, in order to take back what has been taken by psychopaths. Bart, it's yours.
Okay. I think we could, but what we have to do is de-incentivize the pathways that the psychopaths would take. So it's, I'm sort of leaning on something that Buckminster Fuller said. You want to change humankind. You don't try to do it directly. You try to change the environment around them. So environment around them might mean the institutions and the rules that we play by. So I do think that there is a chance of getting us out of this, but what it will take is the awareness of A, the psychopath, B, the psychopath's propensity to climb the ladder and reach power nodes or nodes of power through any means necessary, and then wield that power in order to dominate others. So that first step is to be aware that that is even a thing. So, you know, I think that it's easy to use, but I think it's pretty accurate. 99% of folks out there don't even know that the psychopath, what the psychopath's nature really is, what they will actually do, the lengths that they will go to, right? Because most people are not psychopathic, therefore they have a hard time imagining that another human being can embody such dishonest and unethical strategies, right? But
Exactly.
once that is known, then that can be systematically solved for and de-incentivized. How to do that? I mean, I have some ideas, but I think that at least is step one.
Well, I certainly understand what you're saying, but here's my thought. We are standing in a cesspool, and there's a spot uphill that most people really haven't noticed because they're busy just looking around at the cesspool. And if somebody points them to that place uphill, they're likely going to start moving in that direction. They don't have to know just how deep that cesspool is. You know, how deep the dew is that we're standing in. Oh my gosh, Aaron's still having problems. Let's hope we can keep this going. Oh my gosh.
All right, well, let me bring this up then. You know, since I'm going to stay on this anti-Israel bit, we're going to talk about the Anti-Israel Boycott Act, which is now in 24 of 50 states, which basically states that U.S. contractors, or it's laws that prevent U.S. citizens from conducting business on U.S. soils with U.S. companies and contractors, all because they oppose the policies of this foreign nation. Now, what would that have anything to do with the U.S., and why do 24 of 50 states prohibit U.S. citizens from getting jobs within the United States with U.S. companies?
Yeah,
now, that's because we've allowed lobbies like AIPAC to influence our politicians. Now, again, if we can get them to declare their allegiance, pledge their allegiance to we the people,
I don't.
Foremost, we'll walk them out personally if we have to.
I don't know. I don't want to be represented. I do not want to be ruled.
I don't either.
I am sovereign upon my planet.
But I bet
it is my planet, and it is your planet too, and it was stolen from us by the Unum Sanctum Ancestui KV trusts.
Give that a shot in Kansas and see how they look at you.
Well, I understand.
And then try the word treasonous.
I understand, but
yeah, this thing isn't going to play in every town.
I understand that too, but I am just putting it out there so that people who might be interested in researching might look it up.
I understand. Yeah. And, you know, I think you're right, Amy, 100%. See, the problem with money is, you're right, it is a bad thing if used wrong. However, the problem is we've been raised and conditioned in a culture that has completely divorced us of any, you know, morals, of any self-respect. You know, they've completely disconnected us from having respect to a fellow human being, or having respect of the earth, the water, the air, the land. They divorced us of that. So we need to take that back. No, I understand. And we need, I'm on your side. We need to educate kids, educate people, re-educate. They all need to be re-educated. ADL is sponsoring our children to go to Israel, learn all about the Holocaust, so that they can come back here and preach it to the next generation, so they can continue to suppress us and our rights through laws, through their lawyers. Through their politicians who are paid that way. It's a vile system, and you're absolutely right. But we can get to the bottom of it. But we got to use. We can't sound like a bunch of fucking crazy people. And with all due respect, Amy, I understand. No, I'm not saying you sound crazy. You understand, Amy. You know where I am with you.
Well, I'm going to keep sounding like I'm not saying you sound crazy. Absolutely. And
our timing is way off, Amy.
I sound crazy to a lot of people at that, but I keep believing that there'll be a who will better of deal that will assist to make. Hello.
Yeah, I wish you weren't breaking up so much.
So I know somebody's there. Oh, am I breaking?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Ah, thank you.
I'll go on more if you want.
Go ahead. You sound great.
How come I'm the only one that sounds good? Look, you guys are all broken up. What happened to Bart? No, but your screen. What happened to your screen? You're all scrambled. I don't know. Is that your normal screen?
Oh, no, that's a painting I did.
Oh, shit. All right. Good enough.
Like it's all bluish?
Yeah. No, that's I don't know. It looked like a scrambled screen from me. You know, I'm not.
Oh, no. Well, that's kind of what I was going for.
Oh, yeah. Well,
in the painting, but
all right. So. Yeah, you know, Amy, I respect what you're saying, and I understand, and I think, you know, that would be our end goal, no question. That's what we would certainly like to see as an end result.
Well,
But I think we have to take different baby steps. You know,
well,
that's just my opinion.
My opinion is that we should be taking the biggest steps we possibly can, however small or big they might be, to get in the direction of abandoning this system that is theirs and building our own, putting together something that promotes the caring ones.
You know, I just thought of something. A journey of 100 miles starts with a single step. Patent pending. Patent. I think, no, I just made that up.
All right, make it a meme. All right. So listen, see, but Amy, do you know what the morale would be of the people if in 2 years you were able to return 30% of their money to them? Do you know how that morale would be if in 5 years they had 50% of their money back in their pocket? Well, if we were able to take the interest out of the system, listen, I'm not taking it all out. Business has to run. We can't. It would be absurd to think that we don't need business.
I will be honest with you. I do not have any clue how you can force that corporation to give us their money.
Amy, what has to change is those people enforcing the laws that are being changed on those corporations. That's why those corporations get to charge so much, because the lawyers and the politicians wrote the laws. We changed the lawyers and the politicians just as they did 100 years ago, 200 years ago. That's what 500 years ago. I mean, that's what they did. They infested our politicians, every social aspect, and they've corrupted it. And now we have to take it back. We have to insert our own people.
I don't think that will be the answer.
They sure felt it was. And look whose world we're living in.
That's why I think we should all stand up and say we don't consent. We're done with that system. I mean, if we're going to stand up and do things.
How about this?
I'll yell it out my front door tomorrow.
How about this? How about there are probably 10,000 good approaches to this, right? So
absolutely,
everybody pick one. Pick whatever you think your best idea for a better world is, or your top 5 or your top 10, and everybody work on what you can handle, and then we're going to plug away, and then there's going to be friction and infighting amongst it all. But if everybody keeps in mind and in their hearts that idea of seeing clearly and making a better world. Then I think that we'll be doing good.
Well, let me say this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amy.
I am. I just said I'm certain that that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we can to make sure we are going in a way that is healthy for society. Really need to get away from looking at it as my country, your country. Countries where legal paths drew. The whole indoctrination that the Constitution was for us. I mean, that is not true. So
yeah, I gotta actually wonder, Bob. I'm Bob, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Woohoo! Better not mess that up part. I'm wondering when you say "we the people," right? I've always liked that term, right? But then at some point I started getting suspicious of it. It's kind of open-ended. Who's
Absolutely.
we? Who's we and who's people?
That's right.
And especially if it's you can play these games about whether it's capitalized or not capitalized, right? But isn't part of this trick, this idea that, you know, isn't this a layer within the propaganda of whenever that term is trotted out, we the people, it's supposed to make us feel warm and fuzzy and all united as a people, right? But maybe there's a secret coded layer to that where they go, well, you know, this is what we meant by we the people, right? It's the insiders, right? So all these documents, all these things that we sort of trick people, the normal folks, like I call what people call people, I call them folks. What normal folks would be, you know, they kind of get duped into thinking, oh, they're talking about us. You know, I'm a big fan of them talking about us as if they cared. Right, but you know, I don't know. It's a bit of a murky gray area there. So I think Aaron's calling me on Skype, so I'm going to mute.
Maybe that was an accident because he was calling me too.
I haven't a clue what in the hell's going on here.
Well, he did a group call on Skype. Oh, no, here he goes again. Hello.
What a mess.
Jeez, really?
Hey,
I
we're
mean-
still live.
Oh, hey. All right.
Son of a bitch.
All right.
Ah,
Wait, are
damn.
you back in now?
Yeah, I'm back, and it didn't kill the broadcast. So okay,
Yeah,
right.
we're still rocking it.
I had to restart my computer again. So luckily, I made it back. Unbelievable, unbelievable. There's problems I'm having tonight.
Well,
I
I'm
think-
not surprised.
I
I think we hit somebody's radar.
I
I'm just
think we got to change the name of the show to Glitches or Not. Here we come.
Ah,
Yes. I like it. I like it.
all right.
Oh,
Well, I missed
gee.
probably the last at least 10 minutes of this one. Where were we?
Oh,
We
not
were
having a
deciding
clue.
that
We
with
can't
all
tell
of
you.
us together. Yeah, we can't tell you. No, with all of us working together, doing what we can to solve for the problem of psychopaths in control on our planet, that sooner or later it will move in the right direction and we will accomplish that.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because in this day and age of YouTube and the internet and all that, they have, you know, and because, you know, these are all privately owned companies, they've allowed to, again, with their lawyers and politicians, allowed to bypass out our First Amendment rights and suppress the speech, and we will never be able to defeat their algorithms. So in my opinion, this is why we need to get off the computer now and move on. You know, we got to show up at the APAC meeting. We got to show up
Well,
these places, and we got to call these people out for being who they are, the treasonous, you know, launderers that they are.
Well, I agree.
You know, they can
that
continue to
we should be doing
compartmentalize
that,
us.
but I
Go ahead. I'm
well,
sorry.
I realize that they try to. I realize that they try to. I'm going to say that to email one another and other various other ways of connecting on the web that aren't necessarily within their immediate awareness. I think that disbanding the internet is a poor choice. We can still reach a lot of people that way.
I didn't say disband, but here what for?
Okay.
You know, the only thing.
This is our greatest resource. Really.
Yeah, this is how we communicate, and this is how we should be communicating and organizing. You know, but instead we're talking about false flag. We already know they're screwing us in the
Well,
ass. We already
you
know
know
that. Why are we
No.
dissecting it?
Can I
Why?
say? Can I
Yeah.
tell you one thing? if we
It's time to move on and
organize,
start doing real shit. Get out of our house behind the computer. It's not doing anything. They can compartmentalize us like that. That's what they're
If
doing. That's why I get 100 views.
if we go out and organize, what's going to happen is they are going to have, if they're really concerned about it, they are going to have their agent provocateur in place.
They'll have counter protests.
Okay.
They'll start violence.
They'll start violence, and that will justify
Okay.
massive
I
police.
mean, you know how that goes.
You know what's going to happen when you tell an officer on the side of the road, well, show me that I am just, and
He's going to show you
he's going to
physically.
have 6 other officers around you, and he's going to show you exactly why he's just.
That's right.
No, I don't ask.
Same thing, same fight. I'd rather have 10,000 people behind me.
Well, yeah, okay, I can see that, but I don't think. I bet that's not how it would go down with me.
Well, maybe
Because
not.
Because
I can picture you sitting in a jail cell for a long time, Amy.
Well,
Well, you know where
It's
Monica Schaefer is right now, right?
it's
Sylvia
conceivable.
Stoltz.
It's conceivable, but I tell you what, if ever I'm stopped, if they start to, pull the fist back, I'll show you your subject, that kind of thing. I'll say, all that does is prove that you can be a bully, and I don't dispute that. You don't have to prove it to me.
Well, you just asked, and you constantly bring it up that you asked for them to prove that you're a subject. Well, he's the guy with the gun. He's the guy who's willing to throw you on the ground and throw you in a jail cell.
Yes, I can.
Ultimately, that boils down to proof, Amy.
Yes,
that's where the proof lies.
The proof lies in the bringing up of the evidence.
No,
Amy, you are no longer innocent until
You're
proven
talking about
guilty.
legalized documents. You're talking about passing suits, passing laws. No,
I don't consent to any of that.
I don't care what you consent to, and neither does the guy who's going to beat the crap out of you and haul you off to a cell.
I realize I can be bullied. I realize that I can be bullied into a cell. I realize I can be bullied into a courtroom.
Amy,
I realize I can be bullied.
Amy, you know I love you, but none of us consent.
None of us is willing to stand up and do it. And I tell you what, I've been champing at the bit for an opportunity, but I have no idea how to go about it without
March 4th. I pick you up. We go to AIPAC is treason, 2018. We stand in front of Washington, D.C. and tell them AIPAC needs to get out of our goddamn country.
I will certainly
take their $3 billion fucking dollars with them. We don't need it.
I will certainly go with you.
There you go.
Pick me up. I'm certainly willing to do these things.
So that's what we need to do. Sitting behind our computers is not working anymore. It's not. They're completely suppressing us. Where are all the truth channels? Where's everybody speaking out? You can't get 1,000 subs anymore.
I will say this. I would be willing to go, but I'd have to be able to sit down frequently because I can't stand up very long. And I won't be able to hold signs and things.
People out there that can go.
I'm just saying. I'm sure that there are. And, I really, 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 really hope that a lot of people join in and there isn't any bullshit pulled by the psychopaths to create a problem.
Look, I'm sorry to have to throw the pessimistic.
I'm going to hope for that, but and it frustrates. I am not.
Well, I hate to be the guy that...
You're breaking up again, Aaron.
Oh, great. Well,
no, Amy,
I can hear you. Amy, you're the only one breaking up.
I can usually hear Aaron.
I'm not hearing.
I hear
Aaron.
We got you.
Here's what I'm thinking is that when you're breaking up, Amy, you also hear us breaking up.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I hate to be the guy to throw the pessimistic wrench at both of you. And Amy, I've thrown it at you enough. Bob, I agree that we need to literally show up and physically show up. But without, 10,000 or 1,000,000 of your best friends, it'll have zero effect. I mean, it's going to require more than 10,000. I mean, you can stand outside and beat your drums, and then
we have 350 million Americans.
Remember what happened at Occupy. Okay, people have to go to work. The only people that can afford to sit around for weeks and weeks and weeks and block traffic and whatever.
I agree, but ideally it's the same system that Amy's asking you to commit to.
What do you mean?
I said it's the same system that Amy's asking you to commit to. You can spend 7 days in jail while you wait for them to give you an answer. Meanwhile, you got to get to work. You got to slave for that money. But how do you change that? I'm telling you got to get the treasonous people out. That's how I bring awareness to the people. The only way to do that, the only way to do that is massive awareness. Awareness. And you know what? You know what opens people's eyes? Money, right? Let's use that shit against them. If we can tell the people in 5 years they're going to get 50% of their money back, show them that shit. Because everybody knows we're giving too goddamn much money. For everything we give, we shouldn't have all those potholes all over the road.
No, you're fucking right.
We got SUV. We got every cop driving around an SUV that's swallowing gas. We can't afford to drive those vehicles. They should be squashed in a Toyota Yaris.
No, but we can afford $38 billion to Israel every year.
They work for us. Now we need to remind them.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Bob, long time listener, first time caller.
Who's this?
Have you gotten into cryptocurrency at all?
Hey, people call in here. What's going on here?
No, he's being funny.
Shit.
He's being cheeky.
No, I don't do
cryptocurrency. Okay, no. But you're talking a lot about money. You're talking a lot about money solutions.
I didn't talk about money solutions. I said we can certainly use it as a tool against them.
No, I'm not being disparaging.
We do with this internet.
Wait. I'm not being disparaging at all. Okay. I think money is a problem.
Money can also be used for good too.
Right. Money can also be a solution. Right. It's about the nature of the money, the attitudes towards the money, how it works, how it flows, who holds it, who doesn't.
That's right.
What are the rules? What are the rules? So I encourage you. Hold on. I encourage you to just start looking into what the world of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all of that, not what the traders, not what the dudes that are sitting around going, I'm going to make a whole bunch of money and stack gold things and get Lambos. Don't worry about that. Go look into some of the revolutionary, evolutionary philosophy behind the technology that could potentially hold the answers to a lot of the problems caused by money and how it has worked and flowed and who's owned it, who hasn't, right? It's something about the decentralization, right? It's a bit of a paradox. It's the idea of once you make everything absolutely free and transparent, that ends up making it secure, right? There's a lot of interesting ideas in it. I'm not saying anybody has it all figured out yet. Nobody has a roadmap that's like, oh, this is going to solve all the world's ills. But there are good intentioned, good-natured, very smart people working on it. And the difference is you stop believing in politicians because you know that politicians lie. And you could maybe start believing in something that's actually based on mathematics, because mathematics lies way less than politicians do. So just want to throw that out there.
That's the truth.
Well, I guess what I would say to that is we need to get those people who are smart and put those in those positions that the politicians now hold. That would be the solution.
Yes,
and we have enough lawyers that understand truth.
I'll answer it this way. The smartest people don't want those positions because those positions actually require to be compromised as a person. So the smartest people are not going to be jockeying for those positions. What has to happen is that fruit needs to dwindle. Those positions can continue to exist until it's proven that those positions are no longer necessary because this other thing grew up alongside of it and eclipsed it.
Well, sure, but it has to grow up first.
And it's
You have
growing.
to have to first get. I personally would never want to buy anything. Do you understand that at a click of a button, your number that was on your screen could be gone? Everything you might have ever invested, all in there, nothing, gone.
No. You don't know how this works. The decentralization. No. There's. Okay, I can understand that would be a concern that someone would have, but that's the thing. That problem, that potentiality, has been solved for.
Right? Has it been infiltrated yet?
I'm sure they're trying to be infiltrated.
And then when your money's in there, when it's infiltrated, what will happen?
No, but listen. Think of it like this. Think of it as an organism, right? Like a complex organism, like a human being, is being infiltrated all the time by viruses, bacteria, like other people's shitty ideas and all of that, right? But the person is always sovereign in the sense they have control over themselves to self-defend and to apply medicines to themselves, right?
Yeah, it sounds like
in a lot of ways, that's a feature of some of these cryptocurrencies, is that they allow for the kind of self-healing mechanisms. So yes, it's going to be infiltrated and attacked, but just like a virus, you get a virus, then you treat it, you get over it, now you're immune to that virus, and you move on. But now you have immunity to that virus. So you could come in contact with it 10 more times, during the day, and it won't get into you and it won't affect you. So anyway, there's a lot of really interesting stuff where computer code is starting to emulate some of these best biological features that nature has built in.
And with all due respect, 300 startup tech companies came out of Israel last year.
Yeah,
they run that industry. They run that industry.
That's right.
They run that industry. They can shut down they can shut down the water on your street right now if they wanted to.
Okay, they can, but will they?
What's
they
that?
can, but will they? If it's not good for business,
they might not comply. They will if we still don't continue to send $35 billion a year.
Well, we'll see.
I'll assure you they'll make this place a shithole. They are already.
We'll see. You bring up good points.
They shut it off in Palestine. Why wouldn't they shut it off here?
Oh, okay, because all right, Palestine is tiny and it's right next to them.
Right, and those aren't human beings
over here. I'm just saying, kind of not the strongest, not your strongest point.
Let's agree to disagree. Those are human beings, regardless. So I don't know how many lives have to be lost or disparaged for you.
No, that's not my point. That's not my point. I'm not belittling the plight of the Palestinians.
Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm not. That's absolutely not what my point is.
Fair enough.
Look, the same people who claim to be the biggest losers of World War II are the people who started and controlled and manipulated World War II and won, and the Bolshevik Revolution and all the other fucking wars along the way. They're the same people who will throw their own people under the bus.
They will sacrifice a few for the greater good.
The end justifies the means.
So maybe cool idea would be to figure out a way that all the psychopaths end up sacrificing themselves out of existence.
That'd be a neat trick.
Good luck with it.
Like Highlander, right? And then there's only one, and then you know that's the guy, right? And then you're just like, I just don't deal with him. I don't that one guy.
I want to ask a question to everybody in the chat. I guess right now there's about 45 people watching, and this question will apply to anyone watching the video. If you made it this far, leave me a comment. I want to know your opinion on this question. I have brought this up years ago with Ian and Gandalf the White in our very, very, very early shows. And recently, Bob brought it up on his own on one of his videos, and that is a billboard campaign. However, that's going to require some money. So somewhere along the way, we are all going to have to come to some sort of consensus. If this is even a plausible idea, we're going to have to come to some sort of consensus as to who is trustworthy enough to handle the money. And so the question is to everybody in the chat, let me see right now, there's 45 people watching. I want to know right now, if I started a GoFundMe page, a Truther GoFundMe account, I want to know how many people would be willing to drop a few bucks in there and contribute to a campaign that would go around the country one at a time and start setting up actual billboards in some of these larger cities on main freeways where hundreds of thousands of people have to drive by it every day to go to work. So there's that open question.
Wait, and what would the billboard say?
Well, it could say virtually anything. Some of the great ideas.
Well, they already did.
Well, I mean, here, some of the hard-hitting ideas that we've discussed, I think, are, I would suggest, smoking gun type billboards. Like, I'll give you an example. How about a picture of Lenny Posner in Pakistan and a picture of Lenny Posner from Sandy Hook? How about a picture of the Pentagon before the roof collapsed and a superimposed picture of a 747 and with the big giant bold letters, how does this fit? How about a picture side by side of Building 7 and big bold letters, not hit by a plane? Or the question, how many buildings fell on 9/11? Oh, you didn't know it was 3? I mean, real billboards, hard-hitting billboards.
I like those billboards. If I had the computing power, I'd lay them out for you.
For me, it's. I mean, I know you're asking the chat, but
no, anybody, please. I mean, it's open. It's an open question.
It's. I think it's one tactic. I think it could be one of 10,000 volleys. But for me personally, it's a bit low tech, and I'm also actually struggling with this idea of, does awareness actually even change behavior?
Absolutely.
Right. It can.
Oh yeah.
It can. But does it to the degree that we realistically hope that it does? I think that there's.
I'd say yes.
Well, but here's what I would argue is that all of this stuff is hidden in plain sight for anybody to grasp, and yet the vast majority of folks are still behind the curve, and yet they see all of the same things that we see. Save for going in and maybe digging a little bit deeper into this author or that author, this video or that video. It could all be assembled like a better, more accurate picture of reality could be assembled from basically anything that you can get your hands on, and yet it isn't.
Bart, you mentioned regarding the billboard idea that it's potentially low tech. First, I see nothing wrong with that. Somebody in the chat just a second ago mentioned like ads on subway stations or trains or public transit. The problem I see with that is that those systems are owned by huge corporations or they're owned by the city.
Yeah, so are billboards, though. So are billboards. You don't think they snatched all those up and
hang on, they're not all owned. They're all no, they are not. They are not. There are privately owned billboards that are not owned. They're not all owned.
Okay, no, I didn't.
By huge corporations.
I'll never say
certainly not owned by the state. Maybe some of them are.
Let me interject if you don't mind. I think, in my opinion, just like them, Whenever they want to get something accomplished, they have investors, big investors. So we need to start, we need to gather a group of smart individuals. I mean, it'd be great if a lawyer was involved. It'd be great if, you had this group of people that came together, organized, rallied to find investors, and we don't worry about who owns what. We put out our own signs. That's how it has to be. We have to have an organization that's funding enough of that and finding investors, and people have to be willing to work, just like they're willing to work for their cause. They're willing to fucking stand up for their cause. We aren't. We're pathetic.
Well, not all of us.
No, not all of us. Look what they do when they find a cause. They hire 10,000 people to come out here and call us pathetic. What do? We realize we're pathetic, and we just continue to build another channel. I'll build another channel.
Yeah. Well, that's about all we can.
No, it isn't about all we can do.
Well, relative to them, I'm not saying that's all we can do.
We need to use this platform for organizing only. Getting strikes, it's not worth talking about. False flags, all that shit will end when we get rid of the agendas. Agendas, all the secret societies, those people have to be removed from our office, and every American would understand an oath. And as bullshit as the Constitution might be, every American thinks it's real. So you tell a common American schlep, you think the oath of the Constitution is more valuable than having your cunt cut out, your family assassinated. Which one are you going to live by? And every American is going to tell you, I'm going to live by the one who's not going to cut my throat out. Well, that's a secret society, and they need to be removed from our politicians. And that's how it has to be. It has to be exposed that these people have oaths and obligations larger than our Constitution. And as bullshit as that Constitution is, 99% of the people accept it as real. We need to use this information against them. The brainwashing they've used, we need to now turn it against them. Use the same verbiage they're using that they've already instilled as a piece of document that should be patriotic. We should be patriotic and stand behind, but they're fucking us in the ass over it. Now you go and tell 99% of those good old boys down in Alabama that they're pissing on the Constitution. You see what their reaction is going to be. They're going to stand up and fight. That's my opinion.
Well, I'm hoping that this all comes together. I do.
Sorry, man. I get so goddamn passionate.
More than hoping. I am putting energy into it, that it all comes together, that we will create better. We will create better on our planet. The end.
We need to encourage local business, local policies, and those are the things we need to live by. We don't need a federal anything. Local state can cover everything, and they don't need an abundance of money.
We need the 3 laws of ethics. That's what we need. Beyond that, the rest of the quote laws, unquote, which are really acts, bills, statutes, codes, edicts, mandates, regulations, ordinances, or ordinances, and any of those, especially if we don't have money, which I'm working on.
No, it's, there's enough of us out here that, that we should collectively want to do this. I have kids, and, you know what? I want my kids to know, and my kids know that I'm not going down lightly. My kids know that. So, you know what? That's all I need to know. My kids are going to know in 30 years that my father tried.
Yep.
That's all I can. I know my kids can positively say that today.
Absolutely.
And they'll be able to say it in 30 more years. I promise you that.
Yep. And I know that
So that's just how I feel, and that's where I want to go with it.
Yeah, well, 30 years from now, I'm certain that my daughter is going to be mighty proud that she is my daughter. And that will make me feel very happy.
That's it. That's it. And again, as they say, we got to re-educate them.
Ban schools. Stacy Stoker said that in the chat. Ban schools. I was just sitting there thinking, golly gee, if our kids are not safe at school, let's homeschool them.
Well, they're all talking about, they're on CNN now screaming that we need to get body scanners on every
yes,
school. Yes. And again, let's rewind to Michael Chertoff and the Chertoff group. Again, a dual citizenship with Israel, but it's the Chertoff group who put body scanners in every airport that we walk through and take that radiation.
Yep.
Okay. It's his group that passed the Patriot Act, or him at least, who was a co-author of the Patriot Act, who limits our rights, restricts our, and these people don't, what happens when the shit hits the fan, they get in a plane and they get to go wherever they want.
Yep.
Wherever they want.
Yep.
It doesn't affect them. They can write whatever laws they want. They don't affect them. They get to carry guns. They get to go where they want.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So we have to stand up for the shit that we want.
And they have us duped that those laws apply to us too. They apply to the name corporation given to us at birth.
Absolutely.
And I'm not that name corporation. So, and I'm hoping people begin to grasp that they're not their name corporations either. I mean, it's not theirs. The name corporations belong to the psychopaths who have constructed this illusion for us.
Who's listening to cartoons in the background?
It's not cartoons. I'm sorry.
Drive me crazy, Amy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I crash. Yeah, I do, but it'll mute me.
Oh, jeepers.
Let me explain. I crash at a friend's place because I am technically homeless. And yes, she likes to watch the propaganda box. And I respect that. And I mute this when I'm not talking.
And how does she not mute you?
She turns up the volume and listens
exactly.
over me.
That's what it sounds like.
Yep.
All right.
I wish I could solve for
you.
you.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to be splitting on out soon, I guess. I don't know. How long do people usually stay around here? How long do you guys usually stay?
We usually go till 10.
What? 10? With that noise in the background there?
No, I'll just keep muting it.
I'm messing with you, Amy.
You are. You are.
It's a serious commitment, Bob. You're in the matrix now, buddy.
I don't. It's likely I'm going to be poisoned or killed or something. But I don't say that too loud around my girlfriend. But who cares? And I don't know. It's.
Wait. So. Well, okay. I think you bring up an interesting point, right? I think you mean like pointedly poisoned, like really poisoned.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That's their MO. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They poison. Yeah.
But aren't we all being poisoned?
Yeah,
right?
we are. No,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're already being poisoned anyway.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Food, water, and air.
What's a little more poison?
What's a little more poison, right? Only in mass doses. That's the problem.
It's all about dosages, buddy.
That's right. Right. One is never enough and 1,000's never too much. Is that right?
Pretty much.
Huh? I'm calling this. I got this whole thing going. I'm making up a new kind of math. I'm calling it the New World Order of Operations.
It's all crazy,
right? It's all new. It's new woo, right? So this is where like you can just math is just wide open. You could say anything or do anything with math, and as long as you make it sound convincing, and you put some like all right. I was watching this thing the other day with my wife, and it was about strange and unusual deaths, right? And it was just like, they took basically a 5-minute thing, a story that could be told in like 3 to 5 minutes, stretch it over 20 minutes, you know, run 3 of these in an hour. And then they bring on these experts, and a lot of them have this, like, these equations floating around them, right? So they bring in these folks that are like experts in their fields or college professors, right? And then, like, one of the guys is a physics professor, except what they have them explaining is it's 6th grade common sense physics. And it's like, you all just went out and got a college professor to explain what any high school teacher would explain to you for free, right? And you all paid what, 10 grand to have this guy on?
Well, it's propaganda. See, here's the thing, that piece is a propaganda piece. It's not about, you know, and just like the movies, it's not about making money. They have more money than we could ever imagine. It's about making the propaganda piece and the continued programming. Everything, again, everything you watch is focused propaganda.
I know.
Everything. I watch the news TV as if everything's an advertisement. What are they trying to sell me? What idea are they trying to put in my head?
Yep.
What am I, you know, what is it that they want me to think and feel, you know? And that's how you have to look at it all, you know?
You have to be ever vigilant.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely.
I take that stance. Actually, take that stance very seriously.
You have to. It's okay to watch that shit, but know what you're watching and understand what you're watching.
I think the next level of that, right, is okay. So stay ever vigilant, right? But then that next level of it is, when it's bullshit, don't let it get to you.
Absolutely.
You gotta laugh at the stupidity of
my girlfriend still tells me local stories. Can you believe this guy? And oh, come on now, stop. You're gonna drive me nuts now.
No, I can't believe it.
I just look at her and she goes, I know, you don't think it's happened. And I go, I didn't say I don't think it happened. I just think I don't think it happened that way. You know? Because, you know, they're gonna twist the narrative so it fits their stories, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
So this mantra I've been working on is, you know what? It's all real. It's all real. The question is whether it's true or not, and to what degree, and what parts of it. What parts of it are true? What parts of it aren't true? Right? But it's all real, right? In the sense that, like, when you look at any false flag event, no, it was a real thing in the sense that it was a production, right? Made to appear to be authentic, right? Therefore, it is real. So arguing whether the thing was real or not kind of misses the point.
Absolutely.
It's really about what parts of it are truthful and what parts of it are deceptive.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Las Valdez just told me that my comments are being deleted. I think my computer is either being hacked or the Hangout is being hacked. Or
I see your comments.
You do?
I see your comments.
Yeah. We talk about silly shit and no technical issues.
Are we being trolled?
What's up, Laz? What are you talking about then? Las Valdez just said my comments are being deleted.
Yeah.
Maybe someone hacked his shit.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation.
Yes, you did.
It's all good.
You did. Of course you did. Otherwise you wouldn't have.
Okay. Everybody else says.
I'm just kidding.
You know, I've had to restart my fucking computer.
I know, right?
3 times tonight. Literally 3 times.
Language, Aaron. Language.
Oh, think of the children.
Think of the children.
Think of
Three times.
Think of the dead children that are offended by your language, Aaron.
There you go.
I'm
Worry
thinking
about them, I say. Worry.
Thinking about Noah Posner, that kid who posed for one of those photo inserts when you buy a frame at Walmart.
Yeah, you know what? You totally misspoke. You actually said Lenny earlier, and you're going to get in trouble for that. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say Lenny, not Noah.
I did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at least I got it right in my comment to that asshole.
That wonderful human being.
So apparently, when I just got back in here, I noticed in the chat that several people have, with wrenches, have excluded and banned and blocked several other people. So it looks like the chat room is being heavily trolled this evening as well.
Imagine that.
On top of my technical issues. You know, when you try to bring people together and talk about solutions, this is the conversation they don't want us to have.
This is why we got to get off. We got to organize here, figure out where to meet, go meet privately. A group of people, a group of committed, smart people.
Yeah, see, just
like they did in a Zionist Congress then 120 years ago. We're living in a Zionist world now because of it.
So Bob, I want to tell you that there's this other layer to all of this crypto stuff besides a monetary system. The other thing is this idea of using encrypted and encryption in order to be able to communicate this way without the kind of interference that you would get when you use YouTube, which is an owned company, right? My dad had this saying that was quite brilliant. It took me a little while to understand what he was saying. It's democracy stops at the front door of any corporation, right? So it's democracy on the outside, right? Democracy. But as soon as you walk in through the doors of any corporation, democracy does not apply, right? That's the whole thing. It's the rules have changed, and I think a lot of people, as they transition in and out of a more democratic space into a less democratic space, pull in a bunch of erroneous assumptions that, oh, it's true out here. I step in. Well, it's still true. No, it's not true. It's not true anymore.
Very, very, very
Does
true.
not work that way no more.
Let me interrupt if I may, and I'm going to read to you from the Fatal Discourse of Emmanuel Reichhorn, Chief Rabbi of France, 1869. The Rabbi Reichhorn says, by the ceaseless praise of democratic rule, we shall divide the Christians into political parties. We shall destroy the unity of their nations. We shall sow discord everywhere. Reduced to impotence, they will bow before our law of our bank, always united and always devoted to our cause. There are 19 protocols that are basically written up 140 years ago that we are living by today. Now, I don't call that a coincidence. There's 19 of them. And that's how they are ruling over us. Rabbi Reichhorn's 1869 protocols. And if you're familiar with the protocols of learned elders of Zion, you'll know that this precedes that by 35 years. So some might say the protocols are fake, forgeries. Those are forgeries. How do you explain Rabbi Reichhorn then 35 years prior to that? Saying basically the same thing. This is their blueprint.
Yeah, I agree that
this is their blueprint.
His word
I can go on and on.
Print.
I mean,
seems to be.
Let's read number 5.
Part of
the other great power is the press, by repeating without concession. This is 1869, people. The other great power is the press. By repeating without concession certain ideas, the press succeeds in the end in having them accept as actuality. The theater renders us innocuous services. Everywhere the press and the theater obey our orders. 1869.
By the way, I think that word is cessation.
Where are you talking about?
You say without succession.
Oh, I'm saying. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I get all jump.
Without stopping. Yep.
Don't
But
make
other
me
than
go
that,
on.
yeah, they're definitely putting those to work. No doubt about it.
You bet. So then that's the, you can go and read all 19 protocols and you'll find that they are exactly what's going on today. There's no question.
Absolutely.
Hey, you guys. We were talking about billboards earlier. Somebody asked in the chat, how much do they cost? And just to give you guys an idea, I'm looking at Google search on billboard rental in Atlanta. This one here says $3,000. Adult population that would see it is 6,200,000. And then it says weekly impressions, 5 million. So over the course of a week, maybe potentially 5 million eyeballs would put their, people would put their eyeballs on it. And what I was trying to say earlier before I got kicked out for the 10th time or whatever time it was that all of us, quote unquote, truther people out here with our channels and Facebook and whatever, Twitter, whatever social network you're using, we're all doing the same thing. We're trying to wake up the people that don't normally come to our channels, people that are not awake. Our job, our whole purpose in life on these social networks is to try to put out information, to try to wake up the sleeping masses, right? So we have to go where they are. I mean, how else are you going to get people to come to your YouTube channel? Like Bob said, his videos get like 50 views. And, obviously other channels are bigger channels that get more attention. But when you're putting out a real message of the real truth, the hard truth, you get smacked around, kind of like I'm getting with technical issues, kind of like Bob's getting. He's had, 2 channels terminated by now? Have you lost 2 channels?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, I keep checking to see if I've gotten my rejection yet from YouTube. Not yet. I'm kind of surprised. This is taking a lot longer than the last time.
I sent in my appeal last night, probably around 7:30 or so, and I got a rejection somewhere around 1:30. I saw in the email it came through. So who knows? I think they delay it as if they're not trying to screw you over. Put a 4-hour delay on it, so we're actually make it look like we're thinking it through.
Yes.
Shit.
Well, this is what I wrote on my appeal. I said some people talking and sharing what we found is, quote, harassment and bullying. How? I do not consent to YouTube harassing me. Auto reject on this, no doubt.
Well, isn't
so we'll see. We'll see how long.
Isn't this essentially, right, that this YouTube policy, isn't this essentially the inversion of innocent until proven guilty, right? This thing works as guilty until proven innocent, right? So anybody can come in, flag anything. That flag constitutes the removal of the video, and then the process occurs where they determine whether the thing is legitimate or not, right? It's like an arrest, right? This is a point I've been meaning to bring up to somebody, sometime, somewhere. The word arrest, right? It's often used. I think it's really important to remember that the word arrest means to stop, right? So if someone is arrested, that doesn't mean necessarily they're taken to jail, right? Or put in a cop car or handcuffs or something like this, right?
Or booked or anything.
At the very, very core, the term means to be stopped, right? I just think that this is a little important piece of etymology and linguistics that that needs to bubble up and be thought of again.
So it sounded to me like when I came back in that Bob was reading from the protocols. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, we were talking about the democratic rule, and how you had mentioned how the companies aren't, or I think it was you. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was Bart, who once you get in through the doors, it's no longer democratic.
Right.
So I read off that particular protocol.
Well, regarding the billboard idea, here in Atlanta, which is a pretty good sized city. Sure, we're not the biggest, 3 million population, and that's in the metro proper. And I think it's, do you know, Nancy, you know the population, the overall, the total, was it 6 million or 9 million total? Anyway, this billboard advertisement on Google I'm looking at, Spokane, Washington is $1,800. So obviously 3,000 in Atlanta is going to be a matter of exposure. Now, I haven't opened this up. I assume that is the monthly rental. I don't know if they will create for you a covering, because you have to remember that the wallpaper that gets put on those things, and then obviously it takes a crew, a couple of guys that have to get on little ladders or their bucket truck, and they got to get up there and install, and then it's yours for a month or 2 or 3 or however long you pay for it. But I'm browsing this channel or this website right now. How much the billboard advertising cost?
Just to let you know, Big P has a comment saying, "What about mobile ad trailer? Take it anywhere or make one. E.g., put it on top of pickup truck."
Well,
Yeah,
that's a good idea, and I think it was something that Bob said that reminded me. You guys may not know this, or some of you might know it. I actually own a box truck, and right now it's sitting idle, and it's maybe about a month or 2 away from being put up for sale because.
Wah, wah, wah.
Because what?
You know exactly why.
Yeah. Well, yes.
You know exactly why it's being put up for sale. Ain't gonna get no billboard on it.
He dropped out. He
All
dropped
right.
out.
Got scared. All right. So listen, I think that's right. But we also have to look at, some of our tactics may not be all that ethical as far as I'm concerned. And you know what? When you look at groups like the JDL and the ADL, they're not always ethical, but they're getting their message across.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Well, my network connection is in and out, so I may have to leave and come back again, 10th time.
So you were just saying you were going to buy another box truck and then what?
No, not buy another.
I almost had us another box truck, guys. All right, go ahead.
No, but I mean, look.
Man, you better keep the box truck quiet. Just stop talking about box trucks, man. I don't want to be involved in that.
Yeah,
not here. This is why you meet somewhere, because this isn't the airways for this shit. You know what I mean?
What was that line from Pulp Fiction? Prank call. Are you calling me on a cell phone? Prank call. Prank call.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, people. Look, it's 9 o'clock, way past my bedtime. I gotta scoot on out. Where do you think I get all this fucking energy from? No, I'm an early bird. I get up early.
Soylent Green.
Yeah, right. All right. Hey, I really appreciate it. I hope that's okay that I split out, if that's all right, folks.
No, it's all good. Thanks for joining us.
I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time, and I hope nobody was offended by anything I said. I'm
no, not at all. We get it. We get
passionate. That's all. So
we get it.
All right, people.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Peace out, folks.
Love always.
Be good,
Love
brother.
always.
All right, bye-bye.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
So hey, back to the billboard idea. My buddy, I'm on the phone here. I'm doing group chat. I'm doing phone. I'm multitasking. My buddy said the billboard will get taken down as soon as one person whines. And and again, it's going to be that same thing. Okay. So you spend $2,000 on a billboard, right? As soon as that first wanky person gets on the horn going, I am deeply offended. Well, then they take it down and you take your money and they take your money and boom, it's a done deal.
Yeah, that's the advantage to having a truck and driving around with the stuff on the truck.
Yeah, you get pulled over and harassed by the police. You
might get that.
Kind of reminds me of Alex Jones back in the day, way back when he would have the megaphone and he'd be in the old American giant sedan. Or I think that was in one of the Linkletter movies. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
No, but I think I get the gist.
Yeah.
Let me see. Las Valdez was asking. He took a bunch of screenshots. He wants to know how he can send them to me. Las is on a phone. I'll tell you what, Laz, I will send you a private message on your email or on your YouTube channel. I'll give you my email. So that's what I will do for you, Laz. I'll give you my email. You can send me your screenshots there, hopefully.
With any luck.
Yeah, with any luck. Man, I can't believe the technical problems I've had tonight. Like, unbelievable.
I agree. They've been off the rails.
It was.
Well, you're here though, so I mean, it's not. It's there've been hiccups, but nothing to shut you down. If you got if you were completely locked out, I think we'd be talking about another story. But I don't only watch and participate in stuff in the conspiracy, truther, research field. I look at a lot of stuff in a lot of other fields, and these sorts of glitches are happening to those folks all the time as well. The technology, like, I think we got to remember to marvel at the level of technology that we're at, and remember not to. What?
I just laughed. That's all I did.
But in the sense of, yes, it could be better, right? But it could be worse. But here we are, and we're humans, and we built this stuff, and it's going to suck, and it's going to be awesome, right? So it's, I don't know. I just, it's the Taoist in me that just wants to, like, say, at the end of the day, we are going down the middle path.
Let me just address something that Johnny said in the chat. He said CNN pumps out $4 billion a year worth of propaganda. A billboard is not even going to make a dent. You may be correct, Johnny, and I'm not really arguing how much of a dent. I would argue that it would be some dent. I would argue that it would be a shock to the system because, as Juxtaposed just said, it's never been done before. It would be a serious shock to the system. And Bart is probably right. One person would make one phone call and bam, it's pulled down, no refund.
Yep.
And it wouldn't be someone that would complain. It wouldn't be a little whiny ass social justice warrior, someone who's offended. It would be somebody high up who picks up the phone and says, look, you take down that billboard or we're going to own your property.
Get that down or else. Yes.
Or I think, like, more realistically, it's going to be the friend of a cousin of somebody in power, right? And I think that it flows that way more often than we'd like to think.
Imagine the shock to the system, though. Imagine the shock that 600,000 people pass by any particular highway here in Atlanta, any one of the interstate highways, we have some pretty heavy traffic in Atlanta. Atlanta is home to more corporate headquarters than any other city. That's why our airport is the busiest. It's not the biggest, but our airport is the busiest in the world. So we have a hell of a lot of traffic. Imagine the shock to the system. And yeah, Johnny, the cost is kind of high.
When I imagine the shock to the system, I imagine like sometimes when I take off my sweater and then I touch my pillow and I get that little zap, and it's like, oh, that was kind of fun.
Or like
that's the degree of shock I'm imagining. But then again, I'm an optimist.
Well, the cost would be very high. I mean, one billboard in one city on one road, one billboard on one road in one city, $3,000.
The truth,
and again, that doesn't count the cost of printing the cover material or the cost of a couple of guys with a bucket truck to go and install it for the day. I mean,
Aaron,
it cost you $5,000 or $6,000 to get it up and going, and then $3,000 a month.
Aaron, the truth doesn't sell. The cure doesn't sell. There's only money in the treatment, and there's only money as the system exists currently, and it has been built up until now. There's no money. There's no payoff in the truth, right? Because it's up against. So one piece of truth is up against 99,999 things that are trying to sell you something. And if you've ever done Instagram, it looks like this. It goes like, next, like, next. You could be looking at a masterpiece of modern art, right? Or of Western art, right? Let's say you're looking at one of these really epic paintings that is in every art history book, the School of Athens by Raphael, and that painting is amazing, right? But the modern reality of it is, cool painting, bro. Next, that's a pair of Nike Jordans from the 80s. Just as cool, bro. That gets a heart.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, what's that? That puppy is super cute. Next, bro. It's kind of funny out there right now. Not haha funny. The other kind of funny.
Yes. Peculiar funny. Well, my whole point is I'm going to persist in knowing that it will go the best way it can for humanity. And I will persist in doing what my poor old raggedy body, curled up with arthritis and the whole 9 yards, is capable of doing towards that goal.
Well, we got a troll in the chat.
Oh, we've had several.
Jux, no, I know. Jux is regulating.
Yeah, right on, Jux.
Yep, zero subscriptions, no content whatsoever. Got a cool name. He's just coming in and doing ad hominem attacks.
Gotta love that.
Yeah. Ding dong.
I'll tell you what, Laz. I'll find a way to get you my.
Make that money, bro.
I need to find a way to get Laz my email. I just checked his page. He doesn't have an about tab, so I can't send him a private message. And I'll have to figure out a way to get you my email, Laz.
Well,
maybe I'll go to one of your videos and drop it, but it won't be there very long. Are you guys still hearing me?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're good. Yep.
Because I mean, it's like my network is just going in and out and in and out, and I keep getting
Yeah.
messages. Yeah, Johnny, I agree. It is depressing to know what's really happening. You know, I'm all for getting out and getting active, but I know what's going to happen. You're going to get infiltrated, and they're going to turn it violent and make you look bad.
And on top of that, arrest you for somebody else
That's
behaving
right. That's right.
badly.
That's right. It's like a bait and switch virtue signaling. It's kind of like what they're doing with this Florida school shooting.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they leave these horrible fucking breadcrumbs, these horrible, terrible juvenile mistakes.
Yep.
And
they're honeypot traps, right?
They are. They do that shit on purpose. They know full well that we're going to pick up on it and pick that ball up and run with it. And as soon as we do, they go, "Ha ha! Look at how cruel you assholes are."
But it's even a reference to it, right? That's where it gets scary. It's not even what you have to say about the thing, right? It's putting that breadcrumb. Oh, you referenced the breadcrumb. Strike.
Yep.
They're little they're little like the trappers, like the fur trappers do. You know, they don't care if they catch a mongoose or a beaver or a mink in the thing. They're just happy they caught somebody. But I think this is a good reminder of not to underestimate one's enemy, right? So I think it's really important to always remember whatever level of sophistication you think you're working at, assume that your enemy is working at a higher level.
Right.
And so like be careful around those traps where they pretend to be dumb, right? Knowing that you're going to come along and be like, you done fucked up. You're so dumb. And they're like, no, you're the dumb one.
I'm looking at an article right now. I found this article on Pockets of the Future video titled Jimmy Kimmel, Why Do You Need a Laugh Track, Bro? In case anybody wants to go and check that video out. It's a good, I like Paul. He's got a master's degree in sociology. His commentary is usually very good. He doesn't always get into the conspiracy, the hoax or hoax event bandwagon.
Paul Romano?
But when he does, it's like, you know, when people that don't normally call out hoaxes start calling them out, that's when you know it's a pile of dog shit. But
Yes.
But anyway, this article is titled "Conspiracy Theory as a Personality Disorder" with a question mark.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory as a personality disorder. The follow-up headline of the subtitle is "The Treatment of, quote, Conspiracy Theories by the U.S. Intelligentsia." And for those who don't know what that word is, that basically means the Jimmy Kimmels of the world, the talking heads, the pundits, all those people that are right now beating that bandwagon about how we're all a bunch of cruel, heartless, disgusting creatures. The treatment of conspiracy theories by the U.S. intelligentsia is reminiscent of the Soviet commissions that labeled political dissidents mentally ill.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I mean, this is a complete repeat of what we saw 50, 60 years ago during the Cold War, during World War II, during World War I. Anytime any tyrannical government starts to see political dissidents, people speaking up, pointing out mistakes, pointing out fallacies, you're fucking mentally ill. You're mentally ill if you find this little breadcrumb that we left just for you.
Yep. You know, my sister is convinced that I'm mentally ill for having observed the universe and processed it and made the conclusions that we've got a problem in this world. But I'm mentally ill for having done that, according to her.
Well, that's That's how it works, man. If you're not awake
Yeah.
and you're watching Jimmy Kimmel, you're going to fall for that, like your sister.
Mhm.
We all have somebody in our family or a friend who looks at us like we're absolutely ape shit crazy.
Hey, believe it or not, Amy, I disagree with your sister.
Well, thank you, Bart. I appreciate that.
I'm starting to think you guys are onto something.
You think maybe?
I'm starting to think the government isn't really that trustworthy.
Right. Okay. See? You're coming along to my way of thinking of things.
Yeah,
Amy. I like this.
you
This is
are.
good.
You are.
Hey, look.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awareness is spreading right before your eyes, like a venereal disease.
No, but okay. But one of these things that was like really seminal in my development as a researcher, thinker about stuffness was when I ran in like I thought this conspiracy thing. I was younger then. Was a new thing, right? And then I think that I kind of had one of those echoey breakthroughs when I read something from like a newspaper article from the 1850s or the 1890s or the 1920s, and there were folks speaking out about the robber barons, or speaking truth to power, but in this conspiratorial way, not just like, hey, you powerful guys are really mean and oppressive to us disempowered people. No, there's plenty of awakened people that were like, oh, I see what you all are doing. You're playing layered games around stuff, and I can see through it, right? That was really encouraging to me. That this is a battle that it needs to keep going. It needs to keep happening until, well, I don't know, until what?
Until we get rid of the control mind and money systems entirely, so that we can all live as richly as we choose on our planet.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think some people are going to have to be willing to literally lay their lives down.
Well,
some people already have.
I agree.
But without a million of your best friends, none of us stand a chance, and we're all spread out, man.
Well,
I would.
What if a million of us all just said we don't consent, we're consenting to this other system?
I don't think that would be enough. Compare a million people to just simply the population of the United States. It's less than 1%. It's less than 1/3 of 1%.
I understand.
33. It's 0.33%.
I think that if a million of us were doing that, that would get the attention of more, and they'd start looking at what it is that we consent to.
Well, we are doing that. We're all doing it on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube. Sometimes I float between optimism and pessimism. Like I'll go over to a CNN video where they're talking of shit. Anderson Cooper is talking shit about conspiracy theorists and how we're all assholes because we're talking about crisis actors and we're all sick and disgusting. And then you read the comments and it's full of people telling Anderson to fuck off.
Right.
And that's encouraging.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's encouraging.
Well, okay. So
by contrast, you go over to the TEDx video where that woman who was the mother, God, I can't remember it offhand. She's like the mother of a child that was killed in one of these fucking events.
Oh, one of the events, yes.
I can't remember which one. I'll think of it in a minute. But the point is, you read one comment section and it's full of people that are awake and not buying the bullshit. You read another video comment section and it's full of people that are just sucking it up. They're saying shit like, oh, what a hero. We love you, David. David Hogg for president. I'd support him. Go, David. Yay.
Oh, God. How wretched.
So, optimism, pessimism. It's like, it depends on where you go. Birds of a feather flock together.
Oh,
So that's why I'm saying billboards, because look, this is a fucking echo chamber. And I love all the people watching and commenting and contributing. That's fantastic. However, we're talking to ourselves. How do you wake up people that are not awake? You have to go to where they are. So on one sense, I totally agree with Bob, his passion to get out behind your computer and get out there. But it's a tiny impact. It's a tiny impact.
I think the stronger position is you walk your talk in your real life. And whether that means if you say that you're going to the protest, then you show up. If you don't, but if you don't want to be part of a protest, like a guy like me, I don't want to go and join a group, a mob out in a street. I don't want to hold a sign, whether that sign says I'm with her or down, 9/11 was an inside job or down with the Fed or anything like that. That's not me. I don't want to participate in that form of self-expression. Is it because I'm too good for that? No, it's just not my thing, right? So I definitely don't have a whole lot of tolerance to somebody who's and I'm not talking about Bob here, but let's say somebody's like, dude, if you're not activist, then you're not doing anything, right? That's not necessarily true, right? You're already like believing your own. I like the Robert Anton Wilson thing about belief systems. Like, don't believe, like, belief systems are BS, right? Belief system, BS. Yes. So be careful not to believe too much in your own BS, right? So
I don't have a belief.
Yeah, I try not to believe or disbelieve anything. I try to either know or don't know. And I
don't believe or disbelieve in anything, but I will place probabilities based on the data that I have managed to collect in my life, evaluating that data based on whether it explains what I see or not.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask the question again because the last time I asked the question, I didn't really get to read the chat because I had so much connectivity problems. I want to know how many people in the chat. Once again, it's 45 people watching. I want to know how many people would be interested in a billboard campaign and or contributing to a billboard campaign, especially considering the environment that we're living in right now, where as soon as you start asking for money, you're a fucking shill. Nobody will trust you. So, I mean, I'm seeing a few mixed comments so far about the billboard idea. Some people like the idea. Some people willing to give a few bucks. Some people hate the idea. They think it won't be impactful enough. But, we're out here trying to explore solutions. If you got a better idea, bring it up. By all means, don't be afraid to speak up, say so, leave a comment, leave it under the video, leave it in the chat. But
Aaron, Zoroaster 40 asks, do you take crypto?
No, currently, no, I don't.
All right.
But I do. I'll take no, I'm gonna half joke here. I'll take crypto for Aaron's billboard project and then apply it to something useful. Like getting a cheeseburger so I can be ready for the next show. I'll gladly pay you on Tuesday for a
hamburger today. Yes.
Well, I don't have a big channel, but if a few people, enough people put out the word, and just by comparison, let's just off the top of my head, Zachary K. Hubbard managed to get something like $20,000 for whatever campaign he was trying to do. run for president. I don't know I forget what the fuck he was trying to do.
He did that for the All for Truth thing.
Nevertheless, he managed to scrounge $20,000 from his subscribers. And if I remember, he had about 40,000 subscribers. Is that about right at the time, Amy?
Yeah, it was in that neighborhood. I don't really remember what he got up to before they dropped the hatchet.
$20,000 would put up at least 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8, between 5 and 10, depending on the city and the exposure. 5 or 10. Can you imagine 5 major cities with billboards, a billboard campaign, something really impactful, like big time impactful, like a picture of the Pentagon with a 16-foot diameter, perfectly round hole, and then big question mark with bold letters, where'd the plane go? Or a big bold letters, are you really buying this? Does anybody believe this?
I like it.
I like it on its face, Aaron, but
it would be a real shock to the system.
No, I don't want to poo-poo your idea.
No, please poo-poo it.
But I want to just give you a little bit of perspective. Telegram has raised Telegram. It's an app. It's just a fucking app, dude. It's just all it is a new way to do messaging and group chats. Telegram has raised an initial $850 million for its $1 billion ICO. And that's just an app on your phone. They're looking for like 1.2 billion to raise in the next 3 rounds, in like 2-3 rounds of funding. Did I mention it's just an app?
Jeez.
This is happening right now. This is this is what I'm talking about with truth has to it occupies this rare space where it kind of has to stand aside from money. It has to stand out in the cold, in the lonely corner, and it has to be okay with that. Right? As soon as, and again, this is the way that money has been set up, and there's a lot of momentum carrying us into where we are right now. I actually do hold out a lot of hope that there's enough people that have identified this problem and are working on it in a genuine and tactful way. With this whole decentralized cryptocurrency thing, I'm not saying it's going to be the salvation of the world, but it's the best shot I've seen come out in terms of solutions.
Well, as far as I am thinking, I keep looking at the cryptocurrency and thinking how wonderful a method for getting people to accept a cashless society.
Right. Okay. But that is predicated on this idea that cash is somehow good. Right?
Well, it's predicated on the idea that money is somehow good, whether it's cash. But the cash at least is anonymous, or at least relatively speaking. Yes. I don't know these days with all the crap they embed the bills with.
Right. But my point on that would be like, okay, think about the last, maybe not you specifically, Amy, but like the last 500 movies you've seen, 300 of them involved a suitcase full of cash to do something illegal with it. Right? To do something amoral, unethical, shady, or something with it, right?
I'll take your word for it.
So this idea that cash is somehow virtuous, somehow good, and moving away from cash into cashless is so evil and scary. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance happening around that for me.
Bart, let me explain. When you are working entirely with crypto, then every single thing you choose to spend your money on is in record somewhere.
Right, right. And
Which means that if you want to get something that the system deems illegal, I can't think of anything I would want that is in that category. But if you want to go out and get some with your crypto, then you're going to find that there will be a traceable path there.
Not necessarily, Amy. If you're looking at crypto as it exists now, in the several layers that are the most available to you, in the sense of, oh, I'm gonna start learning about crypto today, right? Well, how do you go about that? And then you go and look at the stuff that's easiest to find. And then you start building your impression about what crypto is based on that. But the deeper you dig, the deeper you find that there are systems being developed that are untrackable and untraceable. And so
or we may hope that they are.
Right. No, but if you think about it in terms of human desire, humans will desire to have untrackable, untraceable currency exchanges and transactions. Therefore, they will invent them, right? And I'll sort of argue this other point of, like, a couple of years back, right? Snowden, all of the revelations came out around how the NSA has been collecting this data. They said that they were doing this one thing, but they're really doing this other thing, right? So I can imagine that there was no less than like 1 million people sitting there paranoid that the NSA has been listening to their conversations, and they are going to care that that this one person had said something disparaging about grandma, right? It's like, sometimes grandma annoys me. I'm telling you, people think like this. They're sitting there going, the government is going to know that I was annoyed with grandma or with my sister. Oh, man, I'm in trouble. Insanity, people. We're all doomed.
I'm afraid we're all doomed. I really don't see a viable solution, and that's the reality of it.
But when have we not been doomed? Right? Come on. Let's
I don't know. Things were pretty good during Clinton.
For who?
And I'm not giving him credit, but I'm just saying, we were debt free.
Right.
I mean,
right, but
we didn't have to suffer 9/11 and taking your shoes off and having grandma's underwear frisked when she gets on an airplane.
Oh, the Clinton years back in the real utopian days.
Yeah, you remember
before everything
the good old days?
Shit. Yeah.
Remember the good old days when we had a rapist for president?
Wait, I can't watch Throw Mama off. It's Throw Mama from the train, GP, not off the train. Come on, get with it. Throw Mama from the train. Good times, good times.
Let me see. We're on to you once archived.
This shit's biblical.
Copy paste ideas on the comment thread and then pin the link for archival purposes. I'll tell you what I can do right now. We're on to you. That's actually not a bad idea. What I will do is I'll archive the chat. I will do a screen share, and then it'll be on the show while we're chatting here. As long as I don't,
go ahead.
As long as I don't get kicked off my internet again.
Broadsword said we could drop millions of leaflets on a metropolis like psyops in Iraq before the war. I like it.
You know,
I just watched Men Who Stare at Goats like a couple nights ago, and they talked about the leaflets, right? And then there was the counter leaflets that were dropped, which were like, and they said, "Dear American soldier, your wife is at home doing sex with Bart Simpson and
yeah.
who was the other guy? Bart Simpson and David Hasselhoff."
Yeah.
That's it. We need leaflets. That'll solve it all. That'll solve the problem. Crypto leaflets. Every crypto coin is a leaflet. All right, back to you.
Well, obviously I've been having a lot of technical issues and I haven't been in the chat as much as I would have liked this evening, but if anybody has any decent ideas, potential workable solution-based ideas, start dropping them in the chat. Leave me a comment after the video uploads, because that's what this particular conversation is geared towards. This is a solution-based discussion this evening. We're all sick of the bullshit. And like I said before, between optimism, pessimism, for me, it's a daily occurrence. Sometimes I get encouragement when I see how many people potentially are awake. And then I get discouraged on other occasions when I read comment threads that are just swooning over this fucking liar known as David Hogg. In fact, I wanted to make a video today and I was going to title it Hog Wild, and I was going to make a compilation video of all the shit dirt I've got on the guy. And have you guys, look, I uploaded a video, by the way. I deleted, for those who have just tuned in, I deleted like 4 or 5 or 6 videos in the last day and a half, because I didn't want my channel terminated. I had enough material out there to warrant an immediate termination. But I don't know if everybody has seen this one, because it wasn't up very long. I think it only had about 65 views. David Hogg, you know, he was on Anderson Cooper saying, "I'm not an actor in any way, shape, or form." Well, actually, caught you in another.
Ah, damn. See? Look at this. This is real.
I think he said July.
This thing is real. This is really
Because-
happening.
Rated.
Yeah, there's the video.
Both of you are
Even in and out.
You're both gone. You're both gone.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. Now you're
Oh,
back.
geez. Really? Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but David Hogg was actually caught acting in an actual movie produced by his school drama team. And anybody who's interested can go over to Anthony 2B channel and check out that video. Pretty hilarious. He's actually an actual actor. So
Yes, he is.
and a big fat fucking liar.
Yes, he is.
Aaron, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Jiminy Crickets, boy.
This is an age-restricted hangout, by the way.
Oh, okay. All
Caution,
right,
F-bombs ahead. Snowflakes be warned.
cool.
I think I'm getting down near the end here. Oh, almost. Trying to get this chat box archived. So
what occurs to me is like this DH guy, wink wink, seems like the kind of poor kid that has been pulled into the system and maybe tweaked from a young age, and now gets trotted out there as a cute little tool. And he's been in it so long. This is his reality. This is when he goes out there and does this. He's good boy, and to whoever his handlers are, right? And it doesn't matter the media impact. Nothing matters, right? To him in his personal space, except the attention and recognition and acceptance of whatever his little bubble provides him. You see what I mean? I think there's so many people that are used this way. It's important to think about, I think.
I want to address a statement that was put out to me just a moment ago. Hang on a second. Let me scroll back up. Somebody said, who was it that said that?
What's March for Our Lives? JST just said, March for Our Lives now up to 2,281,000. What is that on a GoFundMe?
Oh, jeez.
It might have been
Cameron Kasky, March of Our Lives.
It might have been World Peas that said to me, and I can't find it now, but somebody said that your bank account can be seized, but cryptos can't. Confiscated or seized. And I God dang it, I can't find it now.
Well, either way, that is
here it is. Here it is. Zoroaster said accounts can be seized, but cryptos cannot. Zoroaster, I'm not sure if you heard about the $500 million crypto heist that happened. What was it? 2 weeks ago or last month?
Hey, I think let's not conflate things out of ignorance, right? There are these heists that occur, right? It's all about the details. It's all about what in what format these things are happening, right? This is really crucial. This is how a lot of disinfo gets spread, in the sense of someone says a thing, right? That's an absolute statement, which is like, oh, your bank account can be seized, but crypto cannot, right? That's too absolute to be an intelligent statement. That your bank account could potentially be seized or may not, depending on who's playing.
Can be. He said can be.
Hold on. And then crypto can be locked down,
hacked
on various levels of efficacy. But if you fuck up locking down your crypto, it could be seized, right? There's no absolutes in any of this.
I agree, and you dropped the F word, so put a quarter in the
You gotta I'll put a Bitcoin in your swear jar.
You gotta put a Bitcoin in my billboard donation bucket.
All I need now is a Bitcoin.
So yeah, it's not absolute. You're right, Bart, and I'm scared to death of cryptos.
Whoa!
You're gonna lose your ass, and there's more than one way to lose your ass with cryptos. Look, there's a lot of people making a boatload of money right now, and it's just like any brand new, penny stock, any brand new up and coming startup stock. You're gonna do well in the beginning if you get in early, and there are people paying off their houses from Bitcoin right now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when the shit hits the fan, when the internet goes down, when the power goes out, your Bitcoin is fucking gone, bro. You can be hacked. And yeah, I bet you a government, if they wanted to, could seize your Bitcoin wallet. We haven't seen it happen yet, but it doesn't tell me it can't happen. I don't believe that it can't happen. I don't believe it.
I'll be the last guy to tell you that it can't happen.
Yeah, I just don't believe that it
Yeah,
can't happen.
I don't believe that it can't happen either.
Right. But it's such, okay, all right. One of the best analogies about what this thing is and what it looks like and what can you compare it to is like the gold rush, the 49 gold rush out in California, right? And look at what California was before the gold rush and what it is today, right? In a lot of ways, it could be argued that California is what it is today because a gold rush happened out here, right? But it's been 150 years, give or take, since the gold rush, right? So, and California today looks way different than California in 1849. And then the idea of like, okay, so there was what, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of folks that came out to California to do the whole gold rush thing, to go look for gold, right? Well, just because they came out here looking for gold doesn't mean they succeeded in finding any gold, but they ended up here and maybe they found other ways of doing things and making a living and surviving, right? Not necessarily around gold, but gold was the thing that drew them out here. The other thing about it is like, who actually made the most money off of the gold rush? It wasn't the folks that actually found nuggets of gold, because let's say 90% of them were idiots and they squandered it, right? They took the gold nugget, exchanged it for some notes, went and drank and hoarded all away, right? And then they were, and then 10% of them were a little more prudent around it. They invested it, built a house, built a business or something like that. Then you had all these folks that came out here and they went, oh, the gold rush is happening. Let me set up peripheral businesses. Let's sell them jeans, pickaxes, shovels, mining equipment. Those are the folks that won on the whole gold rush, right? So it's really important to have these sophisticated analyses of what all is going on when a big new technology is coming out. Something like that. But it just your use of verbiage there, Aaron, it scares me to death. I don't know, you're being a little hyperbolic, a little dramatic, or are you really scared to death by this? I'd like to know. Oh, Mike, is it just me?
No, you're breaking up for me.
Okay. Have I been breaking up this whole time?
On and off.
Is he
Well, Amy's breaking up now. All I got to say, what I was saying is pure gold, Rush.
So for everybody in the chat, please respond. Is the audio as bad for you guys as it is for us? Are we coming through to you? Hey, Bella, I've got a video for you to watch. I'm glad to see you in the chat. I have a video for you to watch, Bella. I'm going to stop by. In fact, I might even just show it to you right now. I'm not going to play the video, but since I know that I'm screen sharing right now, so while I'm screen sharing, I want to show Bella a video, that Amplex video on the number 432. Bella and I had a discussion. It's right here, Bella. Hope you guys can hear me. I hope I'm still sharing, and I hope you can see that. Bella, I want you to go watch this video, please. I think it's only about, I think it's only 16 minutes, if I can get that damn clock to go away. Yeah, it's 16 minutes, Bella. Go over here to Amplex channel and watch this video, and then get back to me and tell me what you think. And there, I didn't mean to derail the conversation. Sorry, guys.
It's cool, Aaron. I'm used to it.
Yeah, you probably weren't saying anything useful anyway.
Yeah, nah, try not to. My next hat is going to be that emoji of the little guy that smirks. That's the vibe I'm trying to get across. I'm happy, but I see what you're up to.
Do you want to go over that listing I have? Ready?
I'm gonna go take a break.
Well, another masturbation break.
I have to.
It's building up.
It's February. It's been cold.
Well, all right.
The pressure's getting too much.
Or I don't know. Are we going to go overtime, or do y'all want to clip it at 7?
I'm getting pretty crump tonight. I'm thinking about showing up. Yeah, that's a word my dad taught me. Sorry, crumped. Anyway,
it's hot these days.
I'm going to share my screen, Aaron, if you want to highlight me, and I'm going to show that Nashville thing.
Okay, don't get us a strike.
All right.
Channels are dropping like flies these days.
Yeah, the strike would come at this thing at the end.
I'm just showing a website. I'm echoing.
And by the way, for those who don't know, Richie Allen lost his channel. YouTube terminated Richie Allen. Okay,
that's kind of a big deal.
That's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big deal. I mean, he's pretty partial, and I don't care what you think of the guy, whether you hate him, love him, but he's a pretty good sized channel. And yeah, dude, they took down Richie Allen, and I can tell you right now that Richie Allen was not calling this a hoax. In fact, he was pointing out that some of the people out there in conspiracy land have manufactured various bits of evidence, and they're promoting wrong ideas. And for instance, I'll just tell you guys, I've seen the pictures of the guy in South Carolina. His name is David Hogg. He's 27 years old. He has an arrest record from South Carolina. I got news for you people. It's not him. Okay? Stop spreading that disinformation. It's not him. You're not helping. It's back to you, Amy.
Well, you know that they have people that are putting out bogus data.
Of course, I know they make us look bad every way they can, and they're good at it.
Anyway, we've got you can see it's www.hon.org and then opportunity and a bunch of numbers and stuff. It's hands-on Nashville, and we come down here and we see opportunity details. Full-scale disaster drill at the Metro Nashville Airport Authority. And then just what kind of people they're looking for and yada, 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 yada. Saturday, March 24th, 2018 from 7 a.m. to noon. And it's location in Nashville, Tennessee. And it says that it's currently full, but you can add yourself to the waiting list if you want to. I don't. Oh, and snacks, water, and lunch will be provided. Portable toilets.
And everyone must check in.
Everyone must check in. So I don't know whether this means we will be seeing anything exciting happening in Nashville, possibly with a faked plane crash. But yeah, there it is. I just figured people would want to have that in their awareness. Do you need me to keep sharing?
Not necessarily. I don't.
Okay.
I don't need it to go away. I don't need it to keep sharing. I think people got a handle on what you just presented there, and that's good information. It's good for people to be aware of. It reminds us all of the Las Vegas Craigslist ad and the Charlottesville, where they were
Yep.
looking for crisis actors. And so that's good, Amy. I'm glad you did that. But I will beat the war drum again for my prediction, because as we approach, we're getting much closer. It's now February 23rd, and my prediction is for March 11th. Everybody keep that day in your brain. March 11th is the 70th day of the year, on the 70th anniversary of Israel, and that's my prediction. Something is gonna happen.
I do want to say something about that. I forget now, but somebody else through a different route was predicting 311 as well. It was gematria. You know, it may have been Chigozi, or it may have been Alpha Zenith of the Alpha America.
Yeah, the 311, the March 11th is coded 33. The 11 times the 33 gives you the 33.
Yep.
March 11th of this year is the 70th day of the 70th anniversary. We know that Israel likes their numbers, and we know they like their sevens. It also happens to be a Sunday. So everybody keep your eyes peeled for March 11th, and I'm going to say it until it comes and goes. And I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong too. But I'm going to is or isn't it happens on that date. There is a fair probability that something's going to be going down in Metro Nashville Airport around March 24th, or within the week thereafter.
All right, good. I'm glad you brought that up, Amy. I was supposed to ask you last week about that.
Yeah, you were. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now.
All right. Well, we're getting about up to our 3-hour mark, and with all the technical difficulties, I think we should go ahead and cut this one. Cut it loose, man. Cut it loose.
Okay. All right. Let me find the outro.
And I just want to remind you guys, if there was a request in the chat for me to archive this, to like copy and paste the suggestions, the ideas and suggestions. I'm not actually able to do that. So it's just not even in the cards, because as soon as I end this broadcast, the live chat only stays active for about
5 minutes. And
yeah, I remember that I had thoughts around that when I first joined in, and I've let it go since then. I'm like, oh, this is how a chat works. It comes and then it goes. It disappears into the ether. We move on.
Yep.
And it is what it is. So I think if anybody's interested in archiving the chat, they can do, like I did this thing where I thought I wanted to do that, archive the chat, and so I would highlight it and drop it into preview or notes or Word or something like that, right? So like copy and paste. So I think that there's a way to do that on your own.
I think we might have. Okay, he's back.
Aaron's abandoned us again. Daddy!
Really? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna
Daddy! Where are you, Daddy? Bart is scared.
I was going to say something, and now I've forgotten what it is that I was going to say. Now I remember what I was going to say. I just wanted to point out that so far, I keep checking the community guideline status on my channel, and the strike 2 is still appealed. They haven't rejected it yet. We'll see where it goes. Probably by tomorrow, I'll wake up and it'll say, "Nyeh." So
As they say in Poland, I will hold my thumbs for you. We don't cross our fingers. We hold our thumbs.
Well, if I sound like I'm out of breath, it's because I just got back from my French self-defense lesson. God, I never ran so hard in my life. All right.
What?
That was a terrible joke. You don't get it?
No, it reminds me of
Okay.
what was the joke?
Does anybody remember what I was saying when I had kicked out just now? Where I left off? I was rambling away.
We were wrapping up. Hon.
Okay, I was rambling away, and I looked over, and I lost my connection again. Unbelievable.
Anyway, why don't you put Bart on, and maybe this time he'll do the share screen. He didn't do that at the start of this show.
Yeah.
What?
So
No,
no, you did not share it, dear.
No.
We heard it.
We heard the music.
We could see you kicking back.
All we saw was that big green tie of yours.
That's garbage.
Yeah, really. With your red checkerboard. I just love it.
I'm screen sharing now. Do you want to see a close-up of the tie? Oh, now I'm screen sharing. Never mind.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I do the outro?
All right. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Love
listen.
always to everyone.
Thanks everybody, and sorry for the technical difficulties. What are you gonna do, man? They don't like it when you talk about solutions, but everybody be safe, and we will see you on the flip side. Take us out, Bart. Thanks everybody. We love you.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, and stop by if you got an idea. Stop by the video after the upload, and just leave your ideas and suggestions in the comments. I remember what I was saying, that it's not possible for me to copy and paste from the chat, from the live chat. So just stop by the video and leave me a comment if you got any decent ideas. Let's try to come up with some real solutions. Go, Bart, go.
Okay.
Pick up your trash, everybody. Be good to each other.
And we are doomed.
We're all doomed. Take care, you guys. See you next week.
Thank you.